Jaime delivers the message to his father, Tywin Lannister, who lambasts his son for the attack on Ned and continues to insult him for his vanity. He then gives Jaime an army of 30,000 men to get Tyrion back from the Vale. In King's Landing, Cersei approaches Ned and says, "Hey, go home." Ned refuses her kind offer and tells her that he knows her secret, and he's also aware that Jaime was the one who pushed Bran out of the window, and that he's going to tell people about it. She tries to justify her actions with Robert being a shitty husband and Jaime being her twin soulmate or something, and then she says the episode title, and then she walks away. Up north, Theon decides to mess with the wildling that they kept alive as some sort of power trip. Maester Luwin shows up and stops him from taking advantage of her. The Maester then questions what she was doing south of the wall at all, and she says she's running south before the long night, and makes further reference to the White Walkers. Even further north, Jon Snow spots a horse returning to Castle Black with no rider. Uh-oh, Uncle Benjen died. Or he's missing. We don't know yet. Back in King's Landing, Renly frantically approaches Ned with some info about Robert and a boar. Turns out he got fucked up on that hunting trip and is now dying. Robert tells literally everyone, even his wife, to leave so he can talk to Ned alone. When the two of them are alone, Bobby B decides to make Ned the Regent Lord of the Realm until Joffrey comes of age. Ned is cheeky about it and writes down rightful heir instead, knowing that Joffrey is actually Jaime's son. Bobby's final wish, surprisingly, is don't kill the pregnant girl. Complete 180. Ned exits the room and tells Varys not to kill the pregnant girl. Varys says, Ned, it's a bit hard to call off a hit from across an ocean. We only talk with birds. Then the council recount the events, and Bobby was reeling from the wine. Varys questions who gave the king the wine, and it was his squire, whose name is Lancel Lannister. The Lannister family has poisoned the king. Across the sea, Daenerys tries to convince Drogo that sailing to King's Landing and taking the Iron Throne would be so cool, and Drogo says no, because their culture doesn't really give a shit about castles and thrones, and they value the idea of a warrior king much more. Afterward, a little boy gives Jorah Mormont a royal pardon for his crimes that exiled him here. Yeah, I forgot to mention that Jorah was snitching to the council for a pardon because he committed a crime. My bad. While that's happening, Daenerys is off in the market with her handmaidens, and a wine merchant frantically gives her a big old barrel of it. Jorah rocks up and tells the merchant to drink his own wine, and the merchant, who's actually an assassin, turns tail and runs away. He don't make it very far, though. Back at Castle Black, there's some sort of graduation ceremony, and they get like a Harry Potter sorting hat thing into different divisions based on their skills. Jon gets sorted into the stewards, which is kind of like squires and housekeepers and the like, which he is understandably furious about due to the fact that he's probably the best fighter they have. The Maester gives them all their assignments, and Jon is to serve as the personal steward of the Lord Commander. Jon runs off and starts throwing a tantrum about it, and Sam rocks up and tells him to stop, because he was given the position of the steward to the leader for the express purpose of being groomed to be the next Lord Commander. In King's Landing, Renly approaches the now protector of the realm, Ned, and tells him they need to kill Cersei and the other Lannisters and take Joffrey right the frick now. Ned opposes the idea and says that Bobby and Renly's older brother Stannis should be king. Renly disagrees and proposes that he would be a much better king than Stannis, which is true, but whatever. Ned then writes all the conspiracy shit he found into a letter and sends it directly to Stannis, who is currently on the Baratheon island of Dragonstone. Baelish approaches him and suggests that they do the exact opposite of that and kiss the boot of the Lannisters to seize as much power as they can, so they can use the power that they gain to shape the realm to their ideals, instead of inciting a war by telling Stannis the throne is technically his. Jon and the boys go to do an oath before a cool tree that cries blood. Yep. Back to the Dothraki, Drogo is fuming that those pigs in King's Landing try to kill his wife and unborn son. So he hypes up all of his boys to go across that water and kill all of them for their transgressions. Cersei and Joffrey order Ned to the throne room, and Varys and Littlefinger stop him on the way to pledge their allegiance to Team Stark in this throne dispute, which also gives him the force of the Gold Cloaks or the City Watch as Lord Baelish commands them. In the throne room, Joffrey sits on the throne and is expecting his council, Ned included, to give their fealty to him as king. Ned reveals the letter that Bobby B wrote prior to dying, and Cersei rips it in half. Can she do that? Anyway, Ned decides to reveal that Joffrey has 0 Baratheon blood, and then there's a standoff between the two would-be rulers. The Gold Cloaks that were supposed to be loyal to Ned turn their spears, and Littlefinger puts a knife to Ned's throat.